grind. Life is a grind for most people. People that are average and they or below average, they have to grind. Grinding is just a difficult activity that requires a lot of hard work and resilience. That sounds like life to me. And how much you're willing to grind and go through that hard work and figure out how to get past that resilience is how easy your life is going to be on the end and how much more you can create and have in the future. So when I think about grinding, it's not just the day. It's not just the daily grind. It's the path forward. It's finding what you want your future to be and how well or how hard you want to work now, how hard you want to grind to achieve that goal. But the inner nerd in me likes to think of it as in video games. And in video games, you find that a lot of players grind for hours to achieve a certain level in a certain amount of time. So it's that hard work and how much resilience equals that result. And if you say that you've been grinding your whole life, but you have nothing to show for it, then that's just wasted time, wasted effort, wasted hard work because maybe you see somebody else do it or you've been told that's what you're supposed to do. But you need to be able to stop and be like, this isn't working. If you're doing something that is not working, then maybe you shouldn't do it or you're doing it the wrong way. And a lot of people are. It's like I'm grinding. For what reason? For what reason? For what purpose? What is this going to solve for you? So when you are in there actually grinding, if it's the gym, if it's your job, if it's trying to learn something new, or if it's just getting through the day to day stuff, like you have to have a certain path set forward. So going back to video games, because a lot of men do play video games, and just think about it. Think about all the hours that you've spent playing video games when you could have put that into something else. And this could be like I know a lot of guys like myself. I've played many games where I've spent several days of full gameplay, hours, hundreds of hours, thousands of hours playing a video game. That's why I personally don't play them anymore because it's like that's crazy to think that I could have learned like two languages at this time, or made this much more money working a side gig. But instead, I was playing a video game. I was grinding in a virtual world, a virtual life for a result in a game that does not matter. That's going to change, that I'll have to redo it again instead of applying it to my own life. And many men do this all the time. It doesn't matter if it's like a role playing game where you're doing a bunch of different things or you're playing Madden or 2K or FIFA. It's all the same. It's grinding for entertainment when most people need to grind in their life to have a better life, not just for themselves, but for everybody around them. But that grind, it can't be a spark thing. It has to be a disciplined grind because unlike a video game where you can sit down for 5 to 10 hours and play that video game to reach a certain goal, a certain level. It's like if I play this many hours, I know I'm going to reach this. But for life, that doesn't work because we have to sleep. We have other responsibilities, or our bodies just get worn out. In a video game, the only thing you have to do is sit there. That's all you got to do is sit there, twiddle your fingers around, and then boom, you can reach that. You can do those amazing feats in a video game, but you can't do that in real life because in real life, it takes planning, it takes nutrition, it takes education, all this stuff that you learn like that in a game. You actually have to learn that in real life. That's why people choose not to grind in real life for real because they're used to video games and that's all that they know. It's like, oh, I can sit here for an hours and I get this dopamine hit over and over and over. And in real life, you work 10 hours. Some people do. Like when I work extra overtime and do all that, like you do get a little hit, but your body's worn out. You are worn out. That grind, that grind that you usually get in video games, that dopamine, that happy feeling, you don't get that in real life. Mm-mm. And it takes years of grinding in real life to actually start getting those dopamine hits. Because the things that you're doing now, you are planting seeds for fruit that you may not be able to even eat in the future. And for many people, they don't want to take that sacrifice. It's like, no, if I put this in the ground right now, I want that fruit right now. I can't do this in real life. You know what? I'm gonna live an average life. I'm gonna do my 9 to 5. I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna live in my video game where I can grind and actually see results within the day. That that's the true grind. Life is 100% the true grind because there are things that happen in life that you cannot stop, you cannot see, and you have to deal with. And guess what? You have to keep on grinding, not this fake grind like, oh, I'm grinding this week or this is my grind year. It's like, no, it has to be your whole life. Your whole life has to be one big grind. And if your reason for grinding is weak, you're not going to get there. Or if you think you deserve something, you're not going to get there. Too many of us believe that we are owed something because the hard work we're putting in. When we know that there are people around us that are putting in 10 times the work, they have the dedication and they're there before we get there. And when we go home, they're still there. Those are the people on the grind. So are you really on your grind? You you can work up to it. You can work up to it. You can just have a little grind and then turn it into a big one. But you have to be there. If not, then just expect mediocre. Your life will be mediocre, and maybe you might get lucky like some people, and it'll work out, right? Or you can just put yourself in just enough debt to make your people around you happy that you're good, and then you'll put in the grind later. But if you have this set inside of you, a true grind, where it's like you don't even think of it of having a grind because it's just what you do day to day. And those days turn to weeks, those weeks turn to months, and those months turn to years, and then that turns into your life. And then as grinding gets easier, 100% gets easier the more you do it because those skills that you learn, those calluses that you get, they build on each other. You get you get smarter, you get stronger, and you find better ways to do things. So when you see people that are super successful, like, oh, I'm grinding, and you see them, it's like, you're not grinding. I was grinding yesterday. It's like, no, they've been grinding like that for years. So they've already put in their work. You haven't. So they are grinding just as hard as you, but it's easier for them. And you just see them doing easy grinds because they're hard grinds. You weren't there for that. And they don't post that. They don't post that like everybody, like all these fake people do. Like when people are posting their, oh, I'm grinding, it's like half of them, it's not. It's not. Their grind they did in darkness when no one was looking. You want to put your grind out in the light because it's special for you because you don't do it. Those people that are successful, they've already been there. They've been grinding. They don't think it's a fancy thing, a new thing. It's their day to day. It's their day to day grind. Think about that. In your life, is there something that you have been doing consistently? I mean, like 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, depends how old you are. If you're 30 years old, has there been something that you've done 10 years consistently? And if you're thinking about it right now, it's like, well, I've been playing video games, grinding on video games 10 years strong, then that's all you got. That is your only grind. These thumbs, baby. That's it. And that's sad. So that's why, like me personally, like I I try to grind as much as I can, but I had to put the video games down because I did more things in my life, but I kept that there. So I was like beating myself down, wasn't getting enough sleep, and I needed that sleep to make sure everything else in my life was good. And I stopped playing them and promising myself once my grind becomes easier, I will come back to them because I love playing video games because they're fun. But I don't deserve them right now, and I didn't deserve them 3 years ago when I stopped. But I will come back to them after my grind gets better. I'm putting in the time now, the hard work now. I'm understanding and learning how to get through those resilient times, those resilient patches that I have to get through. I'm learning how to do that. I'm putting in the time now. I'm leveling up my own character right now, slowly in darkness, and then hoping that that will be enough for the future. So my future grind will be easy. And then I will be able to be one of those people where it's like, oh man, I'm grinding hard. You see me, you're like, man, you haven't doesn't look like you've done anything. I'm like, yep, because I already did all that hard grinding years, years, years before.